April 2021. Good morning, Uganda does continue, and we get to that part where we get to reflect on, first of all, the wonderful piece of music that we have just listened to, courtesy of Madame Mbabazi, Lillian. She belonged to the Blue Three. They came out of a Coca-Cola project, Coca-Cola Femme, and it was very interesting to see how these three ladies, little as they were back in the day, they took Uganda by the storm, and I think they set a new standard for Ugandan music.
Yeah, but by then it was so unique a touch in music, where we saw the combination of Lillian Mbabazi, Jackie Chandru, and Cindy Sanyu. And all of them brought to the table a different aspect of music. If you remember, Cindy brought this reggae vibe and all this crazy girl thing. Then Chandiru was this hard voice, sort of like a sack, and then Lillian was that notch girl who would hit the notes. So it was a good combination. I remember them working under Fenon, now boss, that is Steve Jeans, who did very, very good productions with them. And of course, they had nice productions. Remember that song?
Which was their what was your favorite group song? What is that, Felix? Open your mouth.
I don't remember the words, but
yes, but you remember the cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that song was really, really good. Then the song they did with Reddy and Weasel, that was Where You Are.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it was also a good
I think
one.
that's where her love affair with radio started from?
Well, presumably.
From that collaboration?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Yeah, but also at least they had two kids with the man, so which was a good thing. But then later on, I think they lost Cindy, they got Maya on board, and I remember one of my best songs Maya did was the song with this guy, Busoga, it's called Maro. Journey, something like that. It was then the video was like when they were wedding or something. It was a nice song. But then Maya used to sing like they wouldn't separate. So it was a nice. You see how life changes.
It does.
Because I remember before Blue Three, Cindy was with some guy called Kefa passed, and now Blue Three, she left Blue Three. Then she did that song. Mami Wanks, Nkoye Okuyoma something. Then look at Cindy where she is. Look
She's
where Lillian is.
Look. Lockdown and post-COVID or current COVID, she's one of the artists that is continuously having platforms to perform.
She has. Even as just before COVID lockdown like this, she had a mega performance at the Oval, Cricket Oval, which was blood. You know, it was really, really huge, and her first, by the way, of a kind. It was big. And I was just trying to compare the level in terms of music career for three of them. You look at Mbabazi, who has totally gone solos, doing more of band music. Probably that's a choice. And now that she's a parent, you look at Jackie. Jackie had some sort of hiccups when she had challenges with, I think, relationship. Then drugs kicked in. Then all these things. Then later on, of course, you look at Cindy Sanyu. Cindy has been consistent with her career, so much energy, day after day, year after year. I think she's one of the women who are doing perfectly well in terms of music. And of course, Maya, I don't know where she is, I'll be honest. Well,
perhaps on one of our good special Fridays, we should have Lillian Mbabazi or Cindy coming through and being part of Good Morning Uganda special Fridays. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. This morning, we want to look at one of the most interesting things in Uganda.
To cross that bridge.
We're going to cross the bridge
of refugees and
looking
food.
at refugees and food in Uganda. Now, interesting to note, because of our country and its hospitality, we are very welcoming people. Uganda is one of the countries that hosts the largest number of refugees, and this number is to the tune of millions. The last report came out reflecting 1.4 million, giving it a 3.6% in terms of percentages for the population contribution to the general population of Uganda, and that is high. We've had refugees coming in from South Sudan, we've had refugees coming in from Rwanda. The wars that have been in Burundi have brought people into Uganda, Burundians into Uganda, and many other countries, Somalia, Eritrea, and the likes, have also chosen Uganda as a place that they can come and find solace as their different countries go through the different political turmoils that they are going through. And at the end of the day, what that has done to Uganda is that it has added on the pressure for Uganda to be able to manage its general population at large. Now, we have the Minister of Disaster Preparedness and Refugees coming out, and that is Minister Hilary Onek, coming out and having a dialogue with UN and, you know, just really having a conversation about the food that is supplied to the different regions or the different countries that do have refugee settlements within them. His recommendation was that the World Food Programs should actually be getting food from the very country that they are, you know, in and want to offer food aid to, rather than importing the food. And of course, he said these statements in reflection of Uganda, and in his suggestion, he was suggesting that perhaps World Food Programs and any other non-government organization that offers food relief to settlements here in Uganda should consider buying Uganda so that they can build Uganda or contribute to building Uganda, which I think is a selfless and considerable argument, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I must appreciate individually or single out the Honorable Hilary Onek in this kind of thought. It is well thought. I mean, it is only courtesy. It is only courtesy that, let's say you visit my home, you know, and you are, even in the Bible, if you're a preacher, and you visit someone's home, how do you live without blessing that home? How do you come to my home and say, but you know, and it just doesn't, we are hosting you and all you think the blessings should, that's the thing. And this is where the minister comes in to make mention. But even, this is, they're even late. This,
in making this argument.
Yes. You know, when you're having what one would term as these agreements, these bilaterals, these tripartite, these, you know, agreements with these agencies. These are some of the core conditional statements or phrases or clauses that must be included in these agreements.
Of course, you do understand that when these agreements that you're talking about, clauses were formed, he was not the minister on board at that time.
You see, Priscilla, it doesn't have to do with individuals, and that's where we have the challenge.
Everything
exactly
have to do with individuals.
It does.
Because of the thought patterns are different, the planning is different per individual.
Very true.
And their desires are different.
Clearly, and I don't even dispute that as a matter of fact, but I must also add and say that, you see, it's important that a country or an institution has standards. That even if you have a very good leader, they will fit into the standard set, or even if they are bad leaders, the bar will be raised in terms of the standards of that institution. Now, this argument mustn't come from a minister. It must be presented by standards of a country like Uganda. For example, we are talking about building Uganda by buying Uganda. And this campaign is going on and on and on. But the rationale of such a campaign, again, is to assist grow the export rate vis-a-vis the import rate. Now, that is basically the argument. Again, it is also intended to motivate local production. That is the other aspect. The third purpose of Bubu, if you may want to call it, is that it is, again, intentional, or the purpose is that, you know, you need to create space for people to realize that, okay, if we do this, maybe it works. If it has worked for her, maybe, you know, because one of the biggest demotivating aspects in terms of production or anything, any kind of work people do, is the absence of market. People would say, you know, people will go in the gardens and spend so much time, invest so much of what and all this, and then guess what? The returns are so little. Now, once you have opportunities and open up doors to such international markets, it's going to motivate and all. Now, government, and this is a duty of government. Of course, Hilary Onek is a minister, which he talks about government as well. But he wouldn't be making this argument at this point. This argument is better placed at inception, when you're having these countries saying, guys, look here, how about you help us host this number of refugees? Like, well, that's okay. But guess what? In terms of procurements of goods that are produced internally or by our nationals, I think we also would want you people to work it out like this. Now, it gives you a fair bargaining ground. There's something they call past consideration, for some of you who appreciate the law of contracts, that you cannot negotiate a term of a contract, the aftermath of an agreement.
Exactly.
Now, it becomes past consideration that it makes more sense if it was executed at inception.
So that would call for amendment or dissolving and creating a whole new agreement in regards to this.
If you present it in that way, but I'm swayed to believe that the Honorable Hilary Onek made this as a statement, from his observation, because well, many people will bring the statements of standards, what and all these things, but the question is, Priscilla, what are standards? How many Ugandans die out of food poisoning? And let's be honest. Not that refugees are anyway marginalized or what, but come on.
Not that they should equally
you get the thing, but we have here people who are of high stature, if you want to call them, who feed from the same places. Exactly. So how then do you say this kind of food is not fit for purpose for these people? Now, are you trying to say, even if you're talking about the UN diplomats, don't tell me they import the foods they eat in their homes.
Okay.
So I think the argument is evidence-based, and I like the approach of the Honorable, that maybe going forward we should think about this. Guess what? It is only in this country that you would look at people benefit from the country, yet the country
does not benefit
from them. And that is on a trajectory of many, many spheres. I can tell you from industrialization. This is a country where people come, exactly. Someone will come here to invest, say, how many,
and they get
whatever.
a tax holiday of 25
They'll
years.
get a tax holiday. They'll use their country people to work, like to do 95% of the work. Thirdly, they are allowed to carry all the profits
and take it back
wherever they want.
Which is not the case in South Africa. And South
Not
Africa
only
has
South Africa.
greatly become a first-class country, first world-class country,
indeed.
because a percentage of the money that is made must stay.
And these are the arguments, Priscilla, we've been tabling. You see, this is where we lose confidence in our parliament. That the most important issues, like discussing an expropriation of Profits Act, that if you come and invest here, let's have that act, that there's a law that you can only take away maybe 40%. Out of 100, if you make, let's say, about $1 million, you can only take back 40. The 60 must be investing. Talk about employment. Maybe we should also tell them that once an expatriate company comes, we shall give it 1 year to at least either train, recruit, you know, whatever and all this, but it must also have staffing, at least 60% Ugandans. Now, that is what they call patriotism. Away from just speaking about it, we are patriotic. The government is... Patriotism must be better off seen than heard.
Your actions must be louder than your words.
Exactly. So we had better see patriotism than hear of it. It's better seen than heard.
Okay.
And this is now what the minister is saying. That are you saying Ugandans are eating bad food versus the refugees?
And yet it's homegrown food that is from the ground onto the market, into the stomach.
Even if there's a quality they wanted.
Yes.
We have all avenues. We have the full Ministry of Agriculture. We have these investment authorities. We have the Standards Bureau. We can have a conglomeration of all these players, but we must safeguard internal production, again, to reduce import versus export.
You do call for a good argument there, because Buy Uganda, Build Uganda is two-way sided. It, of course, they speak about it, but it benefits especially the agriculture sector in reference to what we're looking at here, getting the food locally to promote local agriculture. And it does bring to point that if you do actually take that direction, it will cause growth in the agriculture sector, and it will also go ahead to trickle down to subsistence farming, because everyone will now feel the pressure. Oh, there's availability, there's demand of this produce, agricultural produce, so why don't we jump onto board? And at the end of the day, that puts income into a household, and at the end of the day, there's change of life. There's change of life. You know, per capita can improve easily. Revenue. Yeah. Because what you see, how our economy works. It is a chain. That if Priscilla, let's imagine the farmer Priscilla down there is able to sell
her cassava, potatoes, cabbage, onions, tomatoes, whatever, potato, name it.
Potato.
I know. That if she's able to sell it, she's able now to go and buy sugar which she doesn't produce. Now that will work backward to the sugar manufacturer. There's a shop person who's going to get maybe a 200 off a kilo. Now that shop person is going to go and buy fuel because they drive a car. So the economy is intertwined. It's a chain of activities.
Fuel will make more prices and taxes
and then government later on is here receiving as a big man. But if you disable, you see, every time we cut the purchasing power of every person in this economic chain, the biggest pain or load, by the way, is felt by government. Every time Priscilla down there can't buy sugar, the shop person can't come to Kampala to purchase more sugar. The fuel that would have been bought by maybe a Felix somewhere shop, it is now, and this is what we tell again our colleagues in government. You need to work backward, empower the people who are more engaged in what we call daily transactions, in as ever small they are. Now, this is what we need, that when we have these big institutions, because, for example, you look at the institutions like What For Program, they can procure annually food that probably exceeds probably another $10 million, right? Now, imagine if $10 million is injected in an economy like Uganda. And in terms of just one sector, agricultural produce, in just that sector, and annually, we inject in $10 million. And that is external fund, away from just even the budgetary and what. Can you imagine what that can do? It means that you're going to have farmers who can even shift from subsistence because the avenues, exactly.
Yes.
Someone who wouldn't afford to buy a tractor, someone who can't afford to hire, all these things.
Yeah, it would actually be hiring, yeah.
It works backward. And the biggest challenge we have is that I think we are acting like, I don't know if this is unfair for me to use such an example, but have you seen a man, normally women, if someone starts to clock maybe 45, 40 something, and they're not married, it starts to bother them. And they want to settle for anything
that comes their way.
Yes. So even if a jerry can, a tree, pawpaw, pineapple, melon,
as long as they're in a form of
yes,
man.
so for them, and most of the times we enter arguments like
perhaps
a woman
that was the backbone of where these arguments were initiated from. But present day and moving forward, I think the whole focus
I don't think so.
Readjusting
I'll be honest to you.
To buy Uganda,
and I can
build
challenge,
Uganda would be a good form.
It would be a good way to move forward. But I want you to look at industrialization in Uganda. The only place for Ugandans, again, is that cheap casual labor. And that's not enough. The most important, for example, and again, it works for the benefit of the person who's bringing, because for them, and when they come and they have very cheap labor, it's good for them because they know they are going to take a bigger profit. But we must hold this profit because it's being made here. Can we are willing, as you said, we give you tax holiday, we give you all these things. So even if you employ 1,000 guys and you're paying them 2,000 a day, now the absence also of a minimum wage.
The 8,000 is going into your pocket.
That's the
not
thing.
Fair sharing of the pie.
Because even we have an absence of what we call a minimum wage. The exploitation is humongous.
Yeah,
now,
we've seen it with companies like Sinok when they were doing the highways, the flyovers, in the different parts of, especially central region here. One of the things that was challenging was casual labor. And actually the casual laborers put their tools down and had a sort of a strike because of how they were being treated and how they were being rewarded for their
payment,
labor.
The payment is terrible. And you talk to these guys, go to Mukono, these places where there are a lot of industries, they will tell you, guys come in, they are paid 2,000 a day, they work full day, probably the food is what, and all this, but the big man is taking a lot. Now, for us to deal with this, and I've told you, in as much as the ministers may say this verbatim or before cameras, the sudden part is that the institutions that are supposed to evoke this, for example, And this should come from places like Parliament and Cabinet. I have heard them excite themselves about these tax bills. Before you want to, because you want to milk these Ugandans, let's discuss other avenues. You see, we are all having our focus on Ugandans, taxes, but we can tap into other things. And I'll tell you, I think their fear is that people will not come to invest. But let me tell you, people will come.
An investor is an
as long as you set your standards,
as the environment is conducive.
That is it.
Enough.
And look at Uganda. We have not had war, I think, 2007. Nothing, aggression that is foreign. Who doesn't want to look at other countries? Been looking at Chad. President was killed on front line. Where does that happen in the world? Honestly, even in Iraq. Even in Iraq, we don't see any of the leaders killed on front line. A president was
Closing
killed.
on this conversation, you did bring out the topic or the subject on standardization. And we do have the UN resident coordinator, and that is Rosa Malango, actually making out a statement. She referred to this argument and said that the reason as to why UN World Food Program is importing food to countries like Uganda is because of a report that came out indicating that most especially in Uganda, for Ugandan farmers, when they looked at the harvesting methods and handling of food after harvesting, it was not good and it was not of standard. It's one of the things that was highlighted in defense of why they actually have to import the food.
Yeah, their allegations are based in absence of truth. I don't know what food Malangwa eats again. I don't know if she imports her sugar, imports her tomatoes. I don't know. I would really want to ask her if I had an opportunity. All these can be made better. You see, the production of Ugandans wouldn't blame them. It is entirely subsistent. You know, look at, but we can empower them if the opportunity is presented. She's talking about those. There also have Ugandans, by the way, who export food to UK on a daily. To UK, to Germany, to Europe, to all these places. We have them. Why doesn't she mention those? Put the opportunities present for us. You'll be surprised how much we can do as Ugandans. Again, and this mustn't be a matter of choice. This must be a matter of standard. That we, because for example, let me tell you something else that is also bothering us. Refugees. As much as Mrs. Malangwa or whatever is bothered with the kind of how we harvest, we are also bothered by refugees,
the inconvenience of refugees.
And I'm being honest. And because most recent they no longer live
infrastructure,
and most recent they no longer live in camps, they live in communities.
No,
but we are happy. We have been standing with these people for the last 12, 15, 30 years, and we are happy. So in as much as you think it's a big deal on how we dry our maize, guess what? I think it's a bigger deal for us how we deal with these people. But we are happy. How about you also think about that? It's simple courtesy, and that is, for that matter, diplomatic courtesy.
All right. Also to note that the government of Japan has contributed 36 billion shillings to Uganda through 8 agencies in support of refugees, and this is going to be covering post-COVID, especially focusing on refugees in terms of food and healthcare, among other things that this 36 billion shillings is going to do in aiding and ensuring that refugees are comfortable in our country.
Can you imagine that money now is taken to buy food from maybe Nigeria or from Europe? How painful that is. Injecting 30 billion shillings in Uganda's agriculture sector just alone, trust me, is a big deal.
Buy Uganda, build Uganda. It starts with you. You are the Ugandan. You go into the supermarket and you actually choose another product over your own locally made product. And so tomorrow you might be the Minister of Refugee Disaster Preparedness and the likes. And if you cannot make the decision on just a personal level, how much more are you making the same decision in a leadership position? So it all starts with you. It all starts with me. And we hope that at the end of the day, this very same campaign of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda will be had, and the Minister Hilary Onek and other counterparts will be able to push for this. As Felix put it, it does come out at the end of the day as patriotism. How much do you love your country?
This is Good Morning Uganda.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
Do business with Airtel as a retailer. Register today as an authorized Airtel SIM-selling retailer free of charge.
Or call 0800 327 327 toll-free.
Specific business documents will be required for verification by the Airtel team, still free of charge. Feedback will be communicated within a maximum of 3 working days. Inquiries, applications and registrations and verification are all free of charge. For more information, call
0800 327 327 toll-free.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, a smile is something that will inspire you throughout the day. So when you smile, you actually do put some sort of joy and happiness into another's life. That's what we do here on Good Morning Uganda. My name is Priscilla alongside Felix. We get to look at what is fresh in terms of news in our tabloids. And I'm looking at the New Vision as they're marking 35 years of putting out tabloids. We look at Chankwanzi retreat. Museveni highlights NRM gains. Then we also get to look at police arresting a woman, slapping on her several charges, a story you can find on page 3 in detail. Over 2 billion lost in foreign job scam. That is the black and white for today. Looking back, you look at Katosi Road scam, the scandal that rocked UNRWA. That is on page 18 and 19. Foreign news, Chad president dies on battlefield. And in terms of law, we get to look at a court case. Nitil claim for 30 billion land compensation rejected. In pictorial for the New Vision today, the 21st of April 2021, Japan donates 36 billion for refugees. There's a picture there of the Minister Hilary Onek, an ambassador of Japan to Uganda. Then we also get to look at Senior 3 study material is in there for your child. Makerere University, not all undergraduate courses will be phased out, says Education Minister. Read about the full page and which course could actually be phased out on page 31 to 33 in the New Vision. For New Vision to publish Makerere magazine tomorrow. So all of you that went through the great institution of Makerere University, tomorrow there will be a pullout dedicated to you.
Well, of course, in the Daily Monitor, now Scenario Bank hit by at least 3.5 billion scandal. And sadly again, rebels killed Chad president on the front line. Now from at least his scandal started lighting 1952 to 2021, assisted by Debbie, a political survivor in turbulent Sahel. a peek into Museveni's Idris Abiy relationship, a list of African presidents killed while still in office. Now, Debi's son, Mahamat, below, will take over government. Oh, okay. Now, at least 280 COVID vaccine could expire by July. And government closes Ziwa Rhino sanctuaries. But also, in businesses of building dream, and while the cost of owning a home may seem high, CC Namaganda bills for clients even with a small budget. Now, 6 district registrars rise in COVID cases. Of course, inside, Matia Kasaija, finance minister, was forced to withdraw his shillings 41.2 trillion budget estimate for the year 2021-2022 financial year over inconsistent figures presented. Doctors oppose mandatory COVID jabs, and of course from the archives, the President Apollo Milton Obote talks to students of St. Mary's College, Chisubi, at the school in Wakiso district. That is in 1969. Now in history today, Bina Isa defends new constitution, and of course Uganda's first Catholic school, that is the first Catholic school founded in Uganda, was opened around 1879 at Rubaga Hill. This was after the White Father relocated their first mission from Nabulagala, Kasubi into Buganda Kingdom.
In the national news, looking at the new vision, we look at innovations. Divosh Seguja showing off one of the innovations at Motive Innovation Hub in Bugolobi, Kampala, during Minister Nabakowa's tour of innovation hubs to assess their performances last week. Know your member of parliament. Now, New Vision has taken to Woman Crush Wednesday to crush on Woman MP Budaka, that is Pamela Kamugo, also Woman MP Abim, Janet Grace Okori Moe, and also Josephine Bevano, that is Bundibujo Woman MP. Today in history, we get to look at MP Godi's wife exhumed and the body of Rehema Caesar, wife of Arua Municipality Member of Parliament Hussein Godi, was exhumed for DNA test as investigations into the murder continued. On the very same day, first exoplanets discovered, and that is a Polish astronomer name, very long to read, announced that he had found 2 planets orbiting with the pulse there in the world of galaxies. COVID-19 update is here. So far in Uganda, we have registered 41,396 cases. The death toll stands at 339 persons, and the total recoveries are now at 40,898 cases. New deaths, none registered. New recoveries, none has been registered. When you look at world all over, total COVID-19 cases are now to the tune of 142,752,087 persons. And then you get to look at the region. I think Kenya is holding the highest number of total cases to the tune of 151,894, and also in regards to deaths, they have registered 2,501 deaths, and yet they do have a good number in recoveries to the tune of 102,278 cases. You have countries that are still battling it on the list of worst hit: USA, India, Brazil, France, and equally Russia, top 5.
Well, of course, now again in sports, we'll be looking at Semenya will not attempt 200-meter Olympic qualification, and Simbwa Koi as title rivals falter. Now, Baleke delighted by relief package also, and European Super League breakaway bros. Florentino Perez is sure Real Madrid and other ESP participants won't be thrown out of this season's Champions League. And of course, Simbwa expecting more twists as rivals drop points. And of course, again, Uganda matters edge Kawempe Muslim in female, that is league there. Now, Gora gets COVID-19 jab and eager to resume kickboxing, but also Africa volleyball champs Nemosters storm quarters.
New Vision Sports is bringing you an insider sports woman. They get to look at women in sports today, crushing on women still. But in Pictorial, we're looking at this is what Nachivubo looked like as of yesterday. A bit of construction, some sand and some stones to give you encouragement, some bars there to just show you that perhaps in the near future, I don't know how near the future is, it's going to be taking shape as they have dubbed it. Terraces under construction, workers preparing concrete at Natsivo. All those are pictures to give you an encouragement, because we just looked at a story where the debate is, where are we going to be hosting our World Cup qualifiers games? Given the state of infrastructure, especially for football, we may consider going to our neighbors, either Kenya or Tanzania, to actually host these games. But elsewhere, Vipers is held the Zambarara KCCA fixture today at 4 p.m. Equally, SC Villa and URA will be battling it out on the grounds today.
Well, of course, not much of that. We will give you, at least get yourself a copy of the dailies. That is the Daily Monitor or New Vision, to do catch a glimpse of most of those trending stories. Now, we will take a break. When we come back, the traffic lady or madam officer will be taking us through some of the routes that you may need to catch yourselves on how to get into the center of Kampala.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
Do business with Airtel as a retailer. Register today as an authorized Airtel SIM-selling retailer free of charge.
Or call 0800 327 327 toll-free.
Specific business documents will be required for verification by the Airtel team, still free of charge. Feedback will be communicated within a maximum of 3 working days. Inquiries, applications and registrations and verification are all free of charge. For more information, call
0800 327 327 toll-free.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you.
Daddy, you look not impressed. My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Alleluia Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Day. Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect, nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion and many more, and certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sapolokagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health. Hallelujah Day.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning to you, Uganda. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, as we get into the deep of the day, we're going to be looking at what the traffic looks like in some of these areas. We will be seeing some of the traffic red zones that are building up just within the area code. Now, when you look at the Airtel roundabout, it does have this region that has always been in contention, and that is the Centenary Park. So many people have been asking themselves, what is the problem with Centenary Park? There's been so many land wrangles on the Centenary Park. But looking around Centenary Park, we do have, of course, Oasis Mall, and we also do have Garden City. Now, looking at the Oasis Mall roundabout that does connect with Nile Avenue, you don't have a lot of jam building up there, which is a good thing. But there is a red zone that is building up for traffic that is coming in either from Mukwano or from Ginger Road and trying to connect to Nile Avenue, or equally Yusuf Lule Road. And that shows you that maybe there is actually a problem, because when you look at the rest of the routes, they're actually green to indicate that the route is clear. So maybe there's a minor accident or some two people that have bashed into each other to cause that red zone line there. Looking at the traffic lights on Ginger Road, we do have red zones that are coming in from Kampala Ginger Road, and we also do have red zones that are coming in from Mukwano, and we also do have a red zone that is coming in from Yusuf Lule, trying to connect to the main Ginger Road. And of course, we do have traffic officers that are managing the traffic there this morning. That shouldn't be a problem. We also get to look at the Airtel roundabout this morning. It does have red zones around the roundabout, meaning that there's so many cars that are accessing the roundabout as we speak, and from all directions. You do have the direction coming in from Kampala Ginger Road. You also do have the direction coming in from Nakawa Ginger Road, also all interacting with the same roundabout. However, interesting to note that there is a red zone that is on Wampeo Avenue, and that red zone is stretching all the way up to where you do have the Course Road, and that is interesting to see. Past Speak Apartments, the red zone, of course, is now broken into but increased on the other end, possibly because of the construction that is ongoing in a certain area on the other side of Acacia Road. You do have some adjustments that are being done to the road, and so people are actually using this as an alternative to get to Wampeo and be able to connect to Airtel roundabout and continue on to the rest of their journey. Looking at the rest of Ginger Road into Nakawa, it looks a clear route to and from the Airtel roundabout. We want to take a sneak peek into Old Port Bell Road. Equally, Old Port Bell Road does not seem to have any jam for traffic coming in from Bugolobi, Luzira and the likes connecting into town. However, traffic that is coming from the Airtel roundabout, traffic coming in from town, Ginger Road, Wampeo Avenue, and they're trying to access Old Port Bell Road this morning. The orange zone does give you a picture of how the flow of traffic. Of course, there are commuter taxis somewhere here that also do contribute to how fast the jam can move in this area. But also, we do have Ministry of Internal Affairs Uganda here, and most recently we passed by, and there was a lot of people that were in a line that stretched all the way to the railway line entering into Bugolobi. That was a shock for us, and guess what? It was actually a rainy afternoon, and that line was stretching that far. Just a recommendation, maybe the ministry could consider putting outdoor seaters or just putting outdoor tents for people to actually take shade and shelter as they wait to access the inside of the Ministry of Internal Affairs and go about their affairs with the ministry. That would definitely help in the long run. It's a rainy season, and people come for help. They end up actually getting no help or not being attended to on the day they go, and yet they have to suffer the rains in this rainy season. So with that in consideration, do have yourselves a safe day on the road, and remember to check your car engine oil. It is very important because the engine does actually adjust and ensures that the oil does help your engine perform at optimum, and if you don't do that, then you are causing your engine more harm than good. When it comes to resale value, the engine also has a thing or two to say and add to how much money you can actually make out of reselling your car in case you ever want to buy another car. So please put that into consideration. We do have Good Morning Uganda agenda that is coming up, and we do have Felix Gunda is going to be just having a conversation with a religious leader, and this conversation is going to be about so many things. Stay tuned.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you.
Daddy, you look not impressed. My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion, and many more. And certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apollo Kagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission. Digital Tracking Solution. The Digital Tracking Solution, DTS, is used by both local manufacturers and importers of products specified by Commissioner in a gazetted notice. It is compulsory for these taxpayers to apply tax stamps.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Do business with Airtel as a retailer. Register today as an authorized Airtel SIM-selling retailer free of charge.
Or call 0800 327 327 toll-free.
Specific business documents will be required for verification by the Airtel team, still free of charge. Feedback will be communicated within a maximum of 3 working days. Inquiries, applications and registrations and verification are all free of charge. For more information, call
0800 327 327 toll-free.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you.
Daddy, you look not impressed. My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion, and many more. And certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apollo Kagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh Atirabi Namakula, Head of Women and Youth Affairs at Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. My message